You guys are gonna have to bear with me. This might be just a little longer because I need to think and breathe in between what I'm thinking and talking about. So this is gonna get really heavy today. I probably would have tried to put out stuff this weekend, but I was busy and dealing with what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm pausing because I don't know where to go with it. Because even after dealing with it, like with friends and good friends and significant others and all these other things, suicide is never an easy thing to talk about. Nor is it fun. It is... You know, I watched one of my good friends' dad commit suicide and saw what it did to their family. Saw what it did to him, saw what it did to his little sisters. My friend, that is. I saw what it did to his mom. I was there at the funeral. He came over the night after, 2 or 3 nights afterwards, and just spent 2 or 3 days at my house. Between Anthony Bourdain, I think that's how you say it, and then 2 people I know personally on my one I've met in person, the other one I haven't, that I haven't heard from since they posted their goodbyes on social media, as in I'm going to go commit suicide. My mind has been racked with guilt, with sorrow, of course, sadness, you know, frustration, empathy, angst, indecision, and just general heartache. I don't ever want to go to that funeral again. You know, that kind of funeral, that specific kind of funeral. I guess I'll say deal with unexpected or death that comes suddenly. Most of my personal issues stem from when I can't say goodbye. But this isn't really about how I deal with suicide, you know. Something that was said is in one of the notes on Twitter was, yes, I have my therapist and I have people I could call, but I won't. And I don't even know anymore. I mean, I do. I intellectually understand it. But I can't experience... I mean, I have, to some extent. I remember driving down the road, delivering pizzas, and thinking to myself, what? I could drive into that tree at 90. What would happen? Like, I've been there, but I've never actually been there. And it's literally eating me. Because I've been through the last nearly 10 years now, coming up on the decade of trying to put myself in positions and be there for people who feel like they have no hope. And it doesn't get any easier. It still hits me every time. And I still don't know how to deal with it sometimes. Maybe it's just because, I'm a Christian. Maybe it's just because I'm super empathetic to people. Maybe it's just because I don't ever want to see somebody give up on something that could get better. But suicide just kills me. And I don't say that as a joke, and I don't say that like in a punny way of like, oh, suicide kills me. No, like suicide literally wrecks my internal compass and throws me out of whack to the point where I don't know what to do with myself. I would jump and take their place if it meant that they could live another day and find the happiness that exists for them in some place. If it would get them to a place where they could get out of the said situation long enough to realize that they can live, or like that they'd actually try medication, even if it was hard, but it would let them go on to live and like do what they love and what they want to do without the crippling depression, etc. I've been there. Like, I've seen what it does to people. I've seen the road of depression take people to the point where they attempt to commit suicide. I was there. I've been there. Not myself, like particularly, like excluding that one little time in my life after, and I was literally wondering if I should drive my car into a tree at 90 miles an hour. Like that's I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the visible, actual watching of somebody else get to the point out of trauma that they think that the only way out, and that it's merciful to other people that they are gone. Like, I've watched it. I've seen it happen. I was there when it happened, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. And the other time that I saw it happen, I could have, because I was stupid and bad at communicating and didn't do anything to fix or help the issue. I just let it go because I didn't know any better. No, I take that back. I knew better, but I didn't know how to handle it because I was Now I'm ranting about myself. If you have any bit of hope, if you have the slightest sliver of hope, if you need, like hell, if you can't see any hope, even if it's not even reachable, but you can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, please find somebody. Just reach out, because I don't want to ever see anybody the way I saw my friend and his family at that funeral. I don't ever want to have somebody in the position of myself when I watched my friend, my best friend, the person that to this day I would still die for, even if we're not the best of friends anymore. Watch them put themselves in a bathtub, take sleeping pills, and try and kill themselves. I don't ever want to see or have anybody else in that position again. I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm not in shock, because life gets hard, and life is not very kind. But there's always hope. And if you can't see it, find somebody who can and latch onto them. And I'm going to preface that. Not preface, whatever, Don't become codependent. But find somebody who will walk with you through the valley, who they themselves are strong enough to pull themselves out and get out themselves, because you don't want to drag somebody else down with you. But get help, please. Those two people on my timeline I may never see again. I may never hear from again. I know I sure won't hear from my friend's dad. And I don't know. I can't. My brain doesn't want to process it because it's so. What else can you say? I don't know what else to say, because it find help. I don't mean call us live. If you have some, I'm going to get really, really ranty for a moment, okay? And then I'm going to be done. When this shit happens, stop posting the suicide hotline. It's Googleable. Everybody knows it. If you want it, you'll go get it. That's not the answer. Never has been, it never will be. Some people, they don't know the hotline, so give it to them. That's great. But that doesn't solve the problem. You know, the depressed friend that you talked to, 2 or 3 weeks ago that you haven't checked up on since, call them. You know that friend who always posts really weird shit on Facebook, who seems like they might be in a really rough place? Call them, text them, something. Posting the suicide hotline doesn't really, feel good, do good, whatever. It doesn't do anything. Relationships fix people. They don't even fix people. Relationships change people. Stop using a little post about suicide to think that your friends are okay and will be okay, and that they're Gucci and ready to go on with their lives. Not everybody is. Call them. Relationships matter. That is what saves people. Relationships. Meaningful relationships with other people who actually care. So don't don't post stuff and act like you care if you're not willing to put yourself in a relationship with them and actually make sure they're okay. Please make sure somebody's okay today. If you don't know, make sure somebody's okay today, please. Just one, if each of, just do one person. And if you're thinking of another person that could be struggling, check them too, please. I don't want to see another funeral. And I know that's not possible. But I'm tired. And I'm exhausted from seeing people go down the drain because nobody cares enough to step into a relationship with them. And I'm not even talking romantic, and you know that. Just be there. Don't stop being afraid of intimacy with a friend. that's going to be it for today. If I go any longer, I'm going to rant more, and I don't think you all have time for that. It's already 15 minutes of this. So thank you for listening. Please, 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 please make sure somebody's okay today. Your strongest friends are sometimes the ones who need it the most.